Oxygen is the most important part of our environment, and also the one we humans can't live without. 78% of our environment is nitrogen, 21% is oxygen, and the remaining 1% is carbon dioxide and other gases. And if you don't remember this, go and study 6th grade again. We all know how important oxygen is. I mean, life exists because of it. But what will happen if we lose oxygen just for 5 seconds? It doesn't sound like a lot of time, right? I mean, it's just 5 seconds. Well, still, let's figure out what will happen if we lose oxygen for 5 seconds. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Incredible Theory YouTube channel. Here you will find some of the world's most compelling, intriguing scientific stories, strange discoveries, imagination, adventure, lost knowledge, myths and legends, and unusual ancient artifacts. Much knowledge has been either lost or hidden from us for many years. It's now time for humanity to re-educate itself in regards to the profound world we live in. So today we are talking about what if the world loses oxygen for 5 seconds. 5 seconds doesn't seem like a long time, right? I mean, it's already been 5 seconds since I said, today we are talking about. It's just a small period, so why even consider it? A human can hold their breath for 45 seconds easily, so we all should be fine. There should be nothing to worry about. You guys agree with me, right? Well, if you guys were dumb enough to agree, then I'm so sorry because you are already dead if that happens. Oxygen is not just used for breathing and keeping us alive, but it's used for many other purposes too. And it would be utter chaos if somehow we lose oxygen even just for 5 seconds. We are all protected from harmful sun rays due to the presence of the ozone layer, which many people don't know but are O3, which means it's 3 molecules of oxygen. If we lose oxygen for 5 seconds, we also lose our ozone layer, and all those harmful rays from the sun will enter the earth, which will result in damage to anybody who is exposed to these rays. That means anybody who is outside in the sun will get a serious sunburn or at least a first-degree burn. That's not enough to kill someone, but it will hurt a lot. The next thing that will happen due to the removal of the ozone is the sky won't look blue. The sky is blue because of the ozone and the scattering of blue light. But if we lose oxygen, there would be few particles in the atmosphere to scatter the blue light, and the sky would turn black. It's hard to imagine a black sky, but that's how it will look without oxygen. The next thing can leave a few million casualties. If oxygen disappears from the atmosphere, every internal combustion engine will stop. Cars on the road will stop, and the most dangerous part is those airplanes that are taking off and are on the runway will probably crash, and thousands of people who are sitting inside will most probably die. I know it's not something you guys want to hear, but that's the truth. Without oxygen, combustion will not happen to result in these things, and the airplanes that are in the sky will face a free glide. The next thing that will happen is the most interesting that could happen. Metal will weld on its own. See, the reason metal doesn't weld on its own when it comes into contact with other metal is that they are coated with a layer of oxidation. So if that layer of oxidation disappears, metal will start to weld on its own. This usually happens to metal in a vacuum, in which metal welds without a liquid phase. This process is referred to as cold welding. So if there is no oxygen, there would be a blizzard of welding. Okay, that wasn't funny. We'll move on. Most of the worst things that will happen is everyone will go deaf. As I said earlier, oxygen is about 21% of the atmosphere. Now just imagine that 21% is gone in an instant. This drastic change in air pressure will make everyone's inner ear explode. This will happen because 21% of the atmosphere is gone, and it will be like you getting teleported to 2,000 meters high. Your body won't get time to adapt to it because it will happen in an instant, and there won't be any oxygen to help you with the air pressure. Say goodbye to your hearing. Well, till now, if you had thought you will be alright and won't get any sunburns because you usually stay at home in your apartment, then I have bad news for you. Every structure that is made up of concrete will turn to dust. Now, most of you will be like, what are you talking about? How will oxygen affect concrete? Well, it doesn't, but CO2 does. But as stated in the 6th grade science book, carbon dioxide consists of 1 atom of carbon and 2 atoms of oxygen, and now those 2 atoms are gone, so we are just left with carbon. Now the concrete won't hold its rigidity and would turn into dust, and the structures would collapse, and it could also result in millions of people losing their lives. Didn't see that coming, did you? There is one more important compound that is made up of oxygen. It's water. Water, or H2O, is one of the most important compounds, and oxygen is 1/3 of it. So what will happen if oxygen is removed? What will happen to all these great water bodies? 71% of the Earth's surface is covered in water. What will happen to that? The answer is simple. All that water will simply turn into hydrogen gas, and if you focused in your science class, you must know that it is the lightest gas. So if oxygen is removed, hydrogen will become a free gas and will rise to the upper troposphere and slowly will go into space. The next thing that will happen will probably kill most of us. As I stated earlier, every concrete structure will fall. This thing is similar to that. Most of you don't know, but 45% of the Earth's crust and mantle is made up of oxygen. So if there won't be any oxygen, there will be a lot less stuff holding everything on the ground. The whole land will turn into something like quicksand or even worse. Everything that's above the ground will go into a free fall in those 5 seconds. It seems like nothing, but you all will be falling into the ground with a 19% chance of survival, and odds are not really in your favor. Billions of people will die because of this. Until now I have talked about things that will probably kill you, but still, if you are lucky you will survive. Now, coming to the most dreadful fact, with no chances of survival. We all know that 70% of the human body is water, and if you already don't know that, you should have focused on science class in grade 4. So what will happen if oxygen is removed from our cells? The answer is instant death. Water is 1/3 of oxygen, and without it, every cell in your body will explode in a fog of hydrogen. Every water molecule in your body will turn into hydrogen gas. It will expand inside you, trying to find a way out with this result in instant death. This is true for every living creature on the planet. Every creature will die instantly. Before starting this video, I asked people what did you think would happen if the world loses oxygen for just 5 seconds? And most of them said nothing will happen. We will all just be fine. It's just 5 seconds. Anyone can hold their breath for that long. There would be no drastic outcome of it. I know many of you also had thought the same. I hate to break it to you, but it's not true. Life will perish from planet Earth with just losing oxygen for 5 seconds. Every living creature will go extinct, and there won't be any hope for it returning, even after millions of years. As we all know, life starts with water, but if there is no oxygen, water will turn into hydrogen gas and will go into space. And even after oxygen comes back, there won't be any hydrogen to create water. It's already in space. So if Earth loses oxygen for just 5 seconds, Earth will turn into a dead planet. We don't need a global extinction level event like the meteorite that hit the dinosaurs to go extinct. It can all happen by just losing oxygen for 5 seconds. 5 seconds is not a long time, but it's enough to turn the Earth into a dead planet with no hope. But to brighten up your day, I must tell you that it won't happen, because it's impossible for oxygen to disappear out of nowhere. Well, now you know the importance of oxygen, so you should just go out and plant some more plants, so we don't ever have to run out on the supply. I hope now you all must have understood the value of oxygen. If you liked the video, please tell me in the comments section how grateful you are that we are not losing oxygen ever. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more shocking content like this. I hope you all have a good day. Bye-bye, and keep breathing.